How's it going, everybody? Great in here at the Last Pack Magic podcast. Thanks so much for joining for another episode. We're getting close to wrapping up season 1 of this podcast channel. There will be 12 episodes when all said and done. So it seems like it's flown by, but with lots of really interesting guests, lots of really interesting topics that we've covered. And today will be no different. So what we're going to talk about today is top tier character collecting, the top 3, the big 3, which are Wolverine, Spider-Man, and Venom. I don't think that that's ever really changed. I think that that's been a pretty consistent thing throughout the years of collecting. Those are the top characters. And who better to bring on than somebody who collects one of these characters? Let's bring him in. Josh.
What is going on? How's it going, guys?
Good, buddy. How are you? Thanks so much for joining us today.
No, it's great. There's not a lot of times I'm on a podcast or a channel that it's daytime. So
there you go. You are a late night guy.
Yeah. I am.
I guess with your schedule, that's what works. I'm always impressed when your stream comes on. I'm like, man, I'm feeling a bit tired. I'm like, but how has Josh got the energy to do this at 9 o'clock? You know, it's really impressive.
Yeah.
What have you been up to lately? How's collecting been for you lately?
Collecting is always going for me, I guess. I would say that I'm not really after much right now. A lot of my push for stuff that's going to be for Flair Ultra Wolverine, and that's going to be not until a couple months from now.
Thank God.
I have cards that I look out for and everything like that, right? But right now, we just had some work done on a car and everything, and I just don't have the hobby funds to provide me with what I need to pick up, because there's a lot of cards out there that I don't have that are spendy. Let's just say.
So we always ask people to introduce themselves. You're a very visible person in the hobby. Why don't we get you to anyways? Who are you? Where can we find you? And who do you collect?
Obviously, Marvel Madness MCU is my name, and collecting Wolverine is my game. So that's where it comes from. I would say you can find me on YouTube and Instagram. That's my main places for social media that you'll find me. You can look at my collection and a lot of the cards or content that I do on Instagram. But I try to put out some good content on YouTube on my channel, and I'm with Cool Cards every Friday for Marvel Bros and Friends. So you can find us every Friday at 9 MST Mountain Standard Time for our show. So
absolutely. And if you aren't subscribed to this channel, make sure you are, because you're missing out if you're not. Lots of good stuff over there, not only on the Friday nights, but throughout the week. There's lots of good stuff on Josh's channel.
But definitely, if you're watching this for the first time, subscribe, please, to Last Pack Magic, because he has been a great first streamer, is what I would call you, from what other streamers were used to, like Spidey Hits and Norin, and I started listening to Gingy Man Cards from the UK as well, but I know he doesn't do much Marvel right now or anything like that. But it's you're a popular channel. You're a popular one that people talk about. So I'm happy for any new content creators to come in, and I've always been like that. I've always tried to share content that I like and enjoy. Any positive content that I like and enjoy, I want to share with everybody. And everything I've seen from Graydon is just amazing, guys. So please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.
Thank you, Josh. I really appreciate that. Let's shift gears here and let's talk about this character that you collect. You collect a top tier character, Wolverine.
Yes, I do.
And let's get right into it. I mean, you and me collect characters that are nemesis to one another, which is kind of funny. It's kind of cool.
That is cool.
So your character is frequently appearing on cards that I collect and costing me a fortune because of it. But I can only imagine the situation that you're in. So what are some of the challenges associated with collecting a top tier character?
Price.
Yeah.
Rarity, like, I mean, there are just cards you don't see. Sometimes you got to do your own research to see what those cards are. They may not be worth as much as some cards, but they kind of are. And why I say that is because timing and is key in this hobby, and being able to be in the right place and right time. I would have to say one of the most important things to do is to find like character collectors, not of Wolverine, but just like-minded character collectors, and go help them out. Like go say, hey, have you seen this card? Hey, have you seen that card? And earlier on, there's been a lot of them. I have to give a big shout out to Subby. I have to give a shout out to Spidey Hits. I gotta give a shout out to Norin. They all from the beginning like sent me like little links from eBay and all this stuff. Subby was a huge one because I got some really cool cards doing getting links from friends. Yeah. So links from friends is a thing. It is a thing, and it is cool to do that. Yeah. And then anytime you have a good relationship with somebody, if they pull something, sometimes you just don't get as much character tax as other times, right? So,
absolutely. Yeah, having friends in the hobby is critical for sure. And Subby is a great one. What a legend.
Yeah. I mean, I first came in this hobby and I was picking up not only Wolverine. I didn't start out knowing what a character collector was. I just liked Marvel cards and some characters that I collected, right? So I collected Deadpool, Venom, Wolverine, and there was a Silver Surfer was in there too, and Nightcrawler was one, and I think that was it. But there were characters that I just loved some of the cards, and so I just collected them, and picked them up with I thought were good prices, or I graded cards that I had when I was a kid and got some good grades on, and was able to sell those or trade up to Wolverines that I didn't have and wanted, because I've always loved Wolverine over all of those, right? But I really didn't know what a character collector was until I learned more about the modern hobby, is what I would say. Because as a kid, all you know about is getting enough money to buy some packs and go to the comic book shop and get some packs, or go to the drugstore and pick up packs there and be able to open them, and the exhilaration of getting. I mean, I remember the very first hologram Wolverine with a 1990 hologram, and I pulled that from a pack.
Wow.
I graded it 25 years later and got a PSA 9. So
that's really good for that hologram.
I took care of my cards, with top loaders and everything. Any insert that I had was in a top loader. I never put inserts in binder pages. Yeah. And so I was a big one of that. So I carried those and some comics with me every time I moved places, every time I went places. I probably have lived in 8 different states, with a few different cities in some of them. And so I've moved over probably 15, 20 times since I've had these cards when I was a kid. So.
And they're still in good shape. That's very impressive.
Well, and what's funny is one of my grails is from my childhood, and it's the Wolverine 100th issue hologram cover of Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't have this graded, but I kept it in pristine condition between two that really thick construction paper.
Yeah.
I folded one and then folded one over. So I always had it so the corners weren't touching and everything. Like I had this always in this. And I'm always just keeping it. I don't know why I did it. I really don't, because I didn't know about grading. I didn't. I just wanted to keep it in pristine condition for myself, and that was it.
It's a great habit, taking care of your stuff. So there's more than just cards that you collect for your Wolverine collection. So I see comics back there. Is there anything else that you collect for Wolverine?
It's funny that you would ask if there's anything else, and I do have these just right off to the side. They are X-Men Pogs.
Love them.
Wolverine Pogs, and there's a Wolverine the X-Men Slammer. I do have another set of this, but it's a different set, and it has a Wolverine Slammer, not the X-Men one, but the Wolverine one. But you know what's funny is one of the same buddies of mine, Subby, Miles. He actually curse him, but he actually put me onto like pins. I actually have these 1982 Wolverine pins, and they're just the pins that have a little pin in it. I can't find one right now. I thought I had one up on the table, but I don't. But pins, I didn't ever think I was going to get into pins, and
that's funny.
I do have some Marvel Legends. I have some old school Toy Biz stuff too that are still in boxes and stuff. If they had a card of Wolverine in it, it was opened.
Yeah.
But no, I collect other things too. I have this bandana from Vintage Lord Canada, and it's just a green bandana that I have of Wolverine.
Cool.
And really anything, but mainly just cards, trading cards, because that's just, I don't have a lot of space, for a lot of comics. The oldest comic that I own is this one here, which is the Uncanny X-Men 211 from 1986, and that's cool. The oldest one, and that wasn't even picked up by me. That was a giveaway that I won.
Oh, right on. Speaking of giveaways that you won, who was that one from?
That one was from Grails.
Cool.
Yeah, so big shout out to him. So
yeah, just the reason we're joking about giveaways is that I won Josh's 1,000 subscriber giveaway recently on Marvel Bros, and I got it in the mail recently. It was super fun. It was awesome. It was a Wolverine figure.
Yep. And he doesn't even have to open it because I have one open that I could show people. So this is what he got.
And I left it in the box, actually, on advice from somebody. Somebody reached out and they're like, just so you know, whenever I have stuff like that, I keep it in the box. So I did too.
Yeah. No, I took mine out. I have mine on my table, so I'm happy with that.
Very cool.
And then I was gonna keep the other one sealed, but you know what? I just thought, hey, let's give it away. That's what I did.
So with collecting a top tier character, do you ever see a day where you change characters, where you say, you know what, I'm going to focus on a different character? Or are you this far in and you see this being a continual thing?
So that's a great question, because I didn't transition what I was saying about some of the other characters I collected. I just got out of them. So I don't collect Venom. I don't collect Deadpool. It's just Wolverine. And it was Psylocke, but now it's Spider-Woman. So all the Psylocke cards have been selling. So the only ones that I collect right now are Wolverine and Spider-Woman. And it's the Spider-Woman in the classic suit. So the red and yellow suit.
Right on. It's fun having a character to collect on the side for the times where your character cards are around and it's just not quite in the price range or the availability. It's nice to have somebody else to chase just for fun, right? Just on the side.
Yeah. And I'm pretty happy with my collection of Spider-Woman, that if I didn't collect another Spider-Woman card, I'd be completely content with what I have, Spider-Woman wise. But yeah, Wolverine wise, I don't know if I'd ever be done, because tomorrow something's coming out and I'm gonna like it. It just happens.
I got you. Yeah, absolutely. What do you store your collection in? Are you a binder person? Are you a Pelican case person? What's your style?
Recently, I have been grading of my PC. So pretty soon, me and Michael will have a BGS reveal video probably in the next few days.
Huh?
And it will be 20 of my PC cards that I graded with BGS Beckett.
I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. So I guess the answer is I am a visual person. Like, I like to see my collection.
Yeah.
So that's why I probably would steer the grading route. And when I do have a space that is going to be my man cave, right now it's just under construction and all that stuff, but I already have a screen that comes down electronically and everything like that. So what I'm saying is all of my graded cards I'll probably put up on the wall and all that stuff where I want them, or I put them in the karaoke, I don't know what you the cabinet.
The cabinet, okay.
Curio cabinet, sorry.
There you go, right on.
And it's got glass and everything, and it's got lighting, and that's kind of where it's up in my room. So when I go to sleep, I can turn it on. And I even have Alexa assigned to it, so I can say, Alexa, turn on Wolverine cards light, and it will turn it on, and I can see all my cards and all that stuff. I know I'm kind of nerdy and like that, but that's what I do. So
I think there's a lot of people in the hobby that have display cases that they're proud of, but they definitely are like, this is next level nerd. This is like next level, And I
think since I've had that, I've changed it out 3 different times. So it's kind of like almost every year or so, I switch it up of what I want in it, to show. I mean, there's some that don't change and stay in there, but this one right here, I did bring a couple cards just for people if they're watching.
Let's check them out.
This right here, this is the Jim Lee Auto pack pulled.
Wow.
That is not by me, but has the actual stamp. If you look, it has the seal of the stamp and all that stuff. And so Jim Lee Auto, that's a great card. And I got to give a big shout out to Scandell Cards and Comics. I was able to trade him a card for that. Yeah. And then I do have a story about a Wolverine card on missing out.
Let's hear it.
Thing, but so back in 2021, I believe it was April, May-ish, PMGs were like coming out of the woodwork. People were like, oh, these are going to be sweet. These are going to be amazing. They're going to be like the hit, And I was like, like anybody that was new, I was like, I don't know about that. I mean, they look cool, but are they a $200 or $500 card? Are they? That was like early 2021, right? This was before the very first Marvel card on Golden sold for over $35,000, because that was the first precious metal gem that was posted and within the public eye to see that it's something, a Marvel card sold for over $35,000, right? Wow. And that was Ian Cards of Metal. It was his green Spider-Man number 10 that sold for that. So if you didn't know that, but that was May of that year. So before that, okay, I was actually buying some cards, and I purchased a Loki 2013 Flair Retro, and I also bidded but lost on a card like this. So this is from 2015.
Whoa.
And I bidded 200, and guess what? Someone won the bid at. And I don't know what they really did it for, but they won it for 201. So I lost, and they won at 201.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to me. And so ever since then, that card haunted me until I was able to pick it up.
Yeah.
And I was able to pick it up at a really good price from Michael, my buddy.
So just for the record, that blue card, that blue PMG you just showed us, that's a monster card.
Yeah. So, sorry, go ahead.
It's a monster card. Like
Yeah, to me it is. To me, it's a huge monster card, right? It's sold a few times for $5,000 or $6,000 in the boom time. But this one just sold in a PSA 10 for $7,000 from on Michael as well. Michael sold it. And just for everybody to know this, he cracked it out of a Beckett 9 that I have. He cracked it out of that, sent it to PSA, got a 10, sold it for $7,000. So full transparency, because we're like that.
Are you preferential to Beckett over PSA slabs?
So I'm not sold only on Beckett. Let's just say that, like Michael is, and right. I love him. I am sold on the idea of Beckett because I love subgrades.
Yeah, gotcha.
When CGC did the blue label and did subgrades, I actually loved it. Like, I actually was like, wow, my PC is just going to be that. When they got rid of that and they got rid of the subgrades, which I still didn't understand, because I thought that they would have kept that feature because people liked it.
Right.
And I like getting a graded card back and knowing why it got what it got.
Yes, that makes perfect.
Why did that get what it got? And there's 4 different grades that it gives you on how that card got. Because I've gotten a lot of PSA 9s back. They weren't PSA 10, but they were PSA 9. And everybody knows that with a 9 versus a 10, typically the value demands a whole heck of a lot more on a PSA 10.
Big difference there for sure.
Exactly. So with that being said, on PSA, you just don't know. There's no notes. There's no grading notes. I wish there was grading notes. I wish there was something like that. It would just make much more sense if it was. But having the 9 in Beckett, I love to death because I can still see what it got, why it got what it got. So
part of the reason I'm asking you this, Josh, is maybe you can clarify this. So when you're collecting a top tier character like Wolverine, the cost of these cards is much higher. Is the cost of grading them more because of the value associated with it? Do you know what I mean?
So you're talking about price
to get the card graded. Like, if I want to go and get a throwaway Cyclops card graded, and it's $15 because of the Wolverine card harvesting a higher value, does Beckett charge more to grade like a Wolverine card?
No, they don't upcharge.
Perfect.
That's another.
I've always wondered that.
That's another factor that is a positive about Beckett, is they don't upcharge. You give them a card and they grade it to what you want it to do.
So if you submit a Wolverine card to PSA, is there an uptick in price as a result of it being a Wolverine card?
No. So you submit a Michael Jordan card. I don't care if it's Marvel or Pokemon or anything. Charizard. If you submitted that and they got a perfect pristine 10 on the Charizard, or a 9.5 gem mint on a Michael Jordan, there's no upcharges with Beckett, which is actually, in a collector standpoint, is great. If you're just trying to encapsulate your cards to preserve, because that's really where I see my PC going, is just preservation. Now someday, if I chose to sell something because I got bored of it or something like that, it would be nice to have it in a higher grade, but I'm not going to base it upon that. Like, I'm going to be like, Michael's a big base upon he's got to have a gem mint 9.5, and I love him for that, because what happens to me is I grade all my cards. If I get a 9.5, he's got a 9 for me that I just go ahead and trade him, and then I find more Wolverines he's got, and he just gives me extra Wolverines. So I'm good.
Since you brought it up, we're going to ask right now, who is the Michael Jordan of the Marvel world, Wolverine or Spider-Man?
Wolverine, but I'm biased. It's more like, I like to look at it as, what would my wife prefer? Because happy life, happy wife, happy wife, happy life, they all go in hand, right?
Funny how that works. Yeah.
My wife likes facial hair.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like when I shave.
Okay. Gotcha.
So if she was looking at Peter Parker versus Logan,
yeah,
she would go after Logan all day long.
I got you. Yeah.
But if I'm Peter Parker, it's not happening. So
right.
Sorry, it's kind of a weird analogy I use.
Oh, I love it. I think
it's more so like, because I asked my wife, and this is coming from a non-Marvel person, right?
Yeah.
I asked my wife, so who do you think would win in a fight, Wolverine or Spider-Man? And she's all like, well, probably Wolverine, because you just stab him and you die.
That's right.
Well, then I was like, yeah, probably, but she's like, Spider-Man is a high schooler. He's a little weenie. Like, yeah. I don't want that. She's like, I want the gruff, like, buff guy that just, and if he's short, that's great, because I'm short too. So it's all good. So it reminds me of me.
I've always thought of Wolverine as the Michael Jordan, but of Spider-Man as the Wayne Gretzky. I know that's an unfair analogy to throw another sport in there, but that's how I see it.
Hey, well, I love it. And you know what? If technically that's the case, then Sabretooth just falls as an arch nemesis of Wolverine, and he's just that much cooler because he's, he has a tie-in with Wolverine. So
I'm so glad that my character is a B-rate character. It makes my life a hell of a lot easier.
Only if Wolverine's not on it, then it's an A.
Absolutely. So as we're winding up here, let's talk about Fleer Ultra Wolverine really quick. So this set's coming out. It's going to have a lot of Wolverine cards. When you're collecting, are you looking at a set that's coming out and coming up with a game plan as to what you're going to go after? Or are you kind of shoot from the hip kind of guy?
I usually just shoot for the hip.
I love it.
But because Fleer Ultra Wolverine is so unique and everything, I'm just not really knowing what to expect. So I'm just trying to hope for the best, and what I'm doing with Michael and getting cases and all that stuff is gonna pan out and be really happy, because technically, if you were smart, you wouldn't buy these boxes, you wouldn't open these boxes if you were a character collector like myself, and you would just pick up singles. That's the smart, it's just the cheaper way of going.
Right.
The better valuable way of going, because you wouldn't want to pick this up within the first 6 months. You want to pick it up in the last 6 months. You want to pick it up in a year from now, and the prices wouldn't be as much. So and there is truth in the matter of, if it's a low tier Wolverine, there is a chance that if you don't pick it up, you won't get to in the future, as far as the fear of missing out part. Mm-hmm. But I would say that if you wait and it comes to you, it comes to you. I mean, that's how I collect my Wolverine cards, is the bigger cards that are out there. Like, I still don't have the 1995 Mirage. Yeah. I just saw someone post a really good copy of it and say that they're going to send it into grade. And I don't know what they're going to get, but it looked really, really clean, Yeah. And I would pick it up not clean. Like, yeah. I just haven't had the opportunity to pick that up, even though I have more expensive cards that I've spent more on mm-hmm. in the time, but it's just timing for me. I mean, sometimes I have hobby money, sometimes I don't, right?
Right. And it comes down to that patience. I like that. I think that patience is something that people with some experience have been preaching for a while, and it's a wise thing to listen to.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so the hardest part of collecting a high tier character like Wolverine is the part where you want to find out if what you're paying for at the time is a good deal or not. Right? That's Excellent. where it comes down to.
Yeah.
Well, what I just said about waiting, if you wait a year or two, that's probably going to be the best value for you.
Mhm.
Now, some of the lower tier cards you may not get, like if they're out of 5 or something,
Yeah,
just may not pop up ever for you.
that's right.
And so you might have to pick up something if you have those funds at the time, right? But I would have to say that the smartest part of it would be that. But that's why I collect what I collect, because I usually have things come to me. Like I'll be honest, and I brought this card out for a reason, okay? And this is the last Wolverine card I was going to show today, but it's this one here. Those who don't know this card, this is the 2013 Power Blast of Wolverine.
Wow.
Mine's graded a 9, but if it was a 7, I wouldn't care, because I would have paid, or I would have traded value with the same exact amount at the time,
Mhm.
because there was 2 collectors, myself and another person, okay? He wanted one thing and I wanted another. Well, I was asking for that card. He spoke up and said, hey, I have that card, but it's being graded at PSA right now. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, what do you want for it? He said, you know what? For that card, if you give me this, I will do that. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to take you in on that offer for you. And so, not knowing the grade, it was a blind grade for me. I said, yes, let's do it. And he got what he wanted, and I got what I wanted. That's the perfect part of this. I would say the perfect solution to my problem of Wolverine is finding those solutions where it just comes to you. Like, it comes to you, the perfect timing, perfect place, perfect trading partner where both parties part and no one's mad or upset.
I love a situation. My dad always tells me this. Love situations where I love deals where everyone's happy.
That's how it should be.
It's fantastic. Everybody gets what they want and everybody's happy. I love that.
And if I could preface this with, if you have a trade or some deal that you're making with somebody, before you go and beyond the discovering part, you discovered you have something, he has something. Before you do that, please just do this for me. In that time, just say, hey, you know what? The most important part of this trade is that me and you walk away as friends.
There you go.
If we don't agree to something, let's just walk away. And I'd rather have your relationship than a card. And that's what I truly try to now think of every single time someone comes at me with a trade. It's like, okay, just to let you know, I value you more than anything, okay? So if this doesn't go the way you want it to, or if it doesn't go the way I want it to, let's just part ways as friends at least, right?
Right. I think I've heard the expression people over cards.
People over cards.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's a really nice spot to leave this, Josh. Really appreciate you coming on as a guest today.
Well, thank you for having me. And short and sweet is what I like, so it's great.
We try to keep these at 30 minutes, keep people wanting more. Keep them wanting more. What's next for Marvel Madness channel? What's happening on there next? People should be looking out for.
Like I said, this Friday we're having a Q&A, so definitely watch out for that. We're gonna have some good talk. I don't know if maybe I'll say this. We are gonna talk about the hobby, and I don't mean the hobby. I mean the hobby, as there is a documentary called The Hobby, and it's out on Amazon Prime and I think Apple TV. And I was able to watch that, and it's very interesting. And it was actually recorded the time 2021 to 2022, so kind of around the time the boom thing happened. But it just shows you what kind of collectible market this trading card market can have ups and downs. So
very interesting. Actually, I'm going to try to watch that tonight. I've heard of this documentary. I haven't yet watched it. So
No, it's great. It's great. But no, we got a grade reveal coming up of some of my PC cards. That should be a fun one. But yeah, definitely pretty awesome to just be on here with you, Graydon. I love Marvel card content and any type of hobby related content in collectibles. So you're good.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and you're an inspiration for a lot of that. So thanks for everything you do.
No, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll chat soon, everybody. Take care, everyone.